Hey everybody, this video is on two new subwoofers from our friends over at GoldenEar. Since their founding around 2010, GoldenEar has won an extraordinary number of awards for their speakers from all over the world. They seem to have a knack at making speakers and subwoofers that always sound far better than what you would expect for their price range. Now, even their Triton reference speaker, which is by no means inexpensive at just under $10K a pair, still gets put into the same category as speakers costing 10 times its price or even more. Now, when we first heard that GoldenEar was going to be updating two of their subwoofers to perform even better, we were really excited to learn about these and get our hands on some early samples to test them out. The new models are the ForceField 30 and 40, which will replace the ForceField 3 and 4. The older models have been out for several years, and during that time, GoldenEar has released a much higher performance series of subwoofers called their Super Sub series. As you might guess, the ForceField 30 and 40 benefited from their learnings on the Super Sub models. Now, GoldenEar designs all of their products across two facilities in Canada and California. I really like their design philosophy as they've used a combination of both science and art to come up with their final version. They have their own anechoic chamber, which allows them to take very precise measurements, which, in our opinion, really do matter in speaker design. In addition to that, they do real-world listening tests to make sure their scientific findings agree with what their team hears. The final icing on the cake, though, is that they don't do their designs in a vacuum. They will always obtain models from brands they consider to be main competitors in the category that they are trying to develop, and they do both blind listening tests and measurements on those as well. This combination of art, science, and scoping out the competition is one of the biggest reasons of why they have been able to consistently produce so many award-winning products over the years. The first thing that stuck out to me about the new design of the ForceField models was how GoldenEar shaped them to match the cool curved top you see on their Triton Tower speaker models. And this is not just a design aspect added for only a cool look, but the entire subwoofer cabinet top is curved to help reduce acoustic reflections inside the cabinet. The grille is also updated from a stretchy black cloth to a perforated metal grille with a much improved design. The grille's aesthetics from the front almost look like the sub is grinning at you with an evil grin saying, "Just wait till you hear me." The external cabinet finish is upgraded to a multi-layer satin finish that also just looks and feels fantastic. Now, it does show some fingerprints, but it's easy to clean up with a microfiber cloth. Now, there is no question that these new models just look so much better sitting in your room than the older ones. Build quality is like all GoldenEar products, which is very, very good. These are also both very compact, allowing you to fit a high-performance subwoofer into a pretty small space. The ForceField 30 is about 11 inches wide, 16 inches deep, and roughly 12 inches tall, while the 40 is 13 inches wide, 18 inches deep, and 15 inches tall. GoldenEar had a lot of design goals they wanted to achieve with the new ForceField models. They wanted these new subs to have dynamic slam needed for dynamic special effects, yet they also had to sound musical for use in two-channel stereo systems. The bass needed to reach down deep enough so that you could feel it, but also at the same time be quick and agile so you could hear the harmonics of a string bass instrument. Doing all of this at the price points they were shooting for was a pretty hard thing to achieve, and it really took some serious engineering. Starting with the cabinets, the ForceField 30 uses a cabinet that is slightly over 1 inch thick, while the ForceField 40s use a 1.3 inch thick. These are 33% and 37% thicker than the cabinets on the earlier models. When you couple this with the new curved top design, they were able to eliminate distortion, reduce vibration, and get a more efficient energy transfer. The subwoofer sits on 4 very large rubber isolation feet. If you prefer spikes, these do come off and they have a standard 1/4 inch 20 thread pattern. The subs do not come with the spike kit, but GoldenEar said they could supply spikes for these if you request them. The power amplifier for the new subs got some big upgrades as well and was based on the amps in their award-winning Super Sub X and XXL models. You get 1,000 watts in the ForceField 30 and 1,200 in the ForceField 40. They have moved to analog devices for DSP, which uses a 56-bit DSP chip for the EQ. They created a new EQ circuit which gave them both flatter frequency response and more low-end extension. These digital amps also use MOSFET output stage. There is something interesting I want to point out that we noticed in the testing of these subs. We were trying to quickly hear things with the sub on or off, and one time we simply just pulled the power cord to turn it off. The music was pretty loud at this point, but the sub continued to play for several seconds even with no power, which speaks volumes to the current reserve that the amp has. The new amps drive a 8-inch woofer on the 30 and a 10-inch version on the 40. Both woofers are a long throw design with a very stiff fiber cone. The magnet assemble on these is just massive when you see one out of the box. GoldenEar is known for their quadratic planar infrasonic radiators, which are used in both subs to augment the deep bass. These use flat, passive drivers instead of an open bass port. Many consider the ultimate subwoofer cabinet to be a transmission line enclosure that internally looks like a folded maze that the sound travels through to exit at a slotted port. The only catch is these types of enclosures are huge. Their quadratic planar radiator mimics the transmission line design but yields better transient performance. This allows them to add some downward pressure and get deeper bass than they could achieve with a sealed box and the one active woofer. It also gives you more flexibility in where you can put the subs in the room. The ForceField 30 has a 9-inch by 11-inch version and the 40 has an 11-inch by 13-inch one. There are two connections at the rear of the subs labeled left/LFE and right. Just above there is a little switch where you can choose LFE or left/right. If you select LFE, you would plug your LFE out from your home theater system into the LFE input, which bypasses the internal crossover. If you select left or right, the crossover, which starts at 40 Hz and goes to 150 Hz, is engaged. I do wish there was some kind of phase control on the rear of the subwoofer. Typically, if you're using LFE, you can handle this aspect with the delay for the sub on your home theater system, but if you were using a subwoofer in a 2-channel system, you would have no way to adjust the phase, which means you would just need to position the sub very close in line to your main speakers for the best performance. We did most of our testing on the ForceField 40, and the biggest thing that stuck out to us was just how fast this subwoofer was. It can certainly reach down fairly deep for home theater special effects, but there are many subs on the market that can accomplish that feat. What is hard to do is being able to produce the deep special effects while also being able to sound musical. We even tried it on a really fast pair of speakers that we have been notorious for not being able to find a subwoofer for that blended well, and it did as good or better as any of them that we've tested it with. You can actually hear the tonality of an upright bass and the visceral slam of a kick drum. One of our favorite tracks for testing speed on this was the Holly Cold Trio album Don't Smoke in Bed. The track Every Day Will Be Like a Holiday starts out with some solo upright bass that if a sub is going to call attention to itself as being too slow, you'll definitely hear it on that passage. About halfway in, you get the bass and drum kit going together as another great test. The ForceField 40 really showed its speed and great tonality during these passages. The ForceField 30 is actually even faster, but does not reach down quite as deep as the 40. So for most systems, with the 40 still being fairly small, I think it's the best choice, although two of the ForceField 30s might be really interesting. If you simply want a subwoofer that rumbles for explosions or just to constantly feel pressure from the booming bass, the new ForceField subs are probably not for you. However, if you want a sub that can let you hear bass tonality and can keep up with even the fastest speakers while also giving you the ability to hear a bomber fly over, these are a great choice. I do wish we had two of the 30s to test, as that's probably a really good combo for a lot of people. With these two new subwoofers, GoldenEar has provided us once again with some very high value products. Alright, that wraps up our overview on the GoldenEar ForceField 40 and 30 subwoofers. To learn more about them, be sure to click on the link in the description for our full written overview. And if you're thinking about updating your low end in your music setup, check out audioadvice.com, where we'll find more product reviews like this, product comparisons, and our blog where you can browse our tips and tricks how-to videos. We offer free shipping, a price guarantee, and lifetime support on any products you purchase from Audio Advice. If you have any questions, just feel free to give us a call, chat with us at audioadvice.com, or stop by one of our award-winning showrooms and we'd be happy to help you out. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel so you never miss any of the latest home audio and home theater content. And we'll see you next time.